All right, what's up, everyone? This is Randy with Damn That's Good with Big Salinas Barbecue. This is episode 5. This episode, we are going to have a special guest, Kevin Caldwell with Wholey Smoked Cookers and Wholey Smoked Spice Company. We'll be talking to him about competitions, his barbecue rubs, and just kind of ask him a couple questions, get to know him a little more. Um, Last episode, we had a lot of good things to cover. Jenny, you want to touch base on, go back over what we covered last episode?
Yes, yes. Hey. It was a great episode. We did cover a lot over the new year. We kind of went over what our new year was. Talked a little football within it because it was, I think, the last week of the regular season. Now we're in the second week here of the playoffs, getting closer to Super Bowl time. We covered what our plans were for the new year, what we have in store for you guys as far as podcasts, as far as competitions, and just overall what's important to us, that being catering and making sure that we take care of your needs before we do any competitions, and just kind of share some overall stories on it. So, and then we ran a contest with it as well. So we'll get to those contest results here later on in the show.
Yes, I mean, speaking of competitions, for those of you who are looking, maybe trying to get into competitions, um, it's a totally different ball game than it is to cook in the backyard or cater. You got to put more injection into your meat. So, I mean, if you're one of those people that I can just, cook a brisket from Walmart and turn it in, cook it and be fine. It's not. You got to do injections. You're putting everything you can into every single slice of meat, um, because when you're only going to turn in 9 slices. Um, so you want it to be juicy in the inside. You want the bark to be good. Uh, you got to do all these different things to do it, from brisket, chicken, ribs. It's going to be totally different. You may get lucky and go out there and place really good, but you're gonna have to try different injections, different rubs, nail down what you want. Um, if you're
Absolutely.
one of those ones that are uh, cook low and slow, a lot of people are cooking hot and fast, including myself. It's just easier on you. You don't have to worry about wasting that much wood. It saves you a little bit of cost because, I mean, you're putting 500 to about $1,000 for each competition in the hopes of winning your money back. Sometimes you may not even win anything. But that's just something else for you to think about. And if you're going to ask people for sponsors or be an ambassador, um, try the product first, because a lot of ones, including ourselves, we're not going to bring you on board if we haven't tried our stuff. Regardless, if you got 10,000 followers on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we want you to have tried our stuff and like it before we bring you on board.
Absolutely, and I think you made a good point on there. When you're at the competition, since you brought it up, Randy, what are the, I mean, there's two different styles of, I guess, of judging that are out there, but what are the different, like, what is usually your turn, like, what are your rules, like, for your brisket? I know it's 9 pieces and stuff like that, but I know, isn't it like an inch apart, or like it's something apart, like they got to be so thick or something like that? Tell them what that is, and for those ones interested in it, so they can practice at home what they're going to turn in. Go over some of those rules with them.
Yeah, so with the chicken here in Texas, IBCA, Lone Star Barbecue Society, um, it's 2 chicken halves. Some may just do 1 chicken half. You can either spatchcock it and then slice it down the middle, or you can do like I do, separate it and then cook each half separately, and then turn in the best half. Some people will just cook 1 chicken. Some people like myself will cook 2, just so you can have more options. And you just kind of cook each one like it's your only option. Ribs, you're gonna cook, how many ever racks of ribs you want, but you're only gonna turn in nine bones. Um, with brisket, it's the same thing, 9 slices. You're not turning. We don't do burn ends here. It's just slices. So I mean, you're gonna trim that point off or trim it down to where you can get those line slices and make sure it fits in the box. And it's about a quarter of an inch to I think a half inch that you can turn in. Most people will cook it over because we're not the judges. They're not going to pull it out and do the bend method. They're going to basically take a plastic knife and fork, cut it, and eat it like that. So you kind of want your ribs and your brisket to be overcooked, almost falling apart, so that way it's easier for them to chew. Because the more they chew, the less you're going to score. And like I said, it's all you're putting everything you can into each slice. Some teams will turn in more of the point, so you're going to still turn in the flat, but you're going to kind of get some of that fat and that point meat on there. Those are the ones that kind of walk almost every competition. But if you want to practice that, get you some styrofoam boxes and put it in like that. And there is going to be a new competition organization coming out. It's going to be called Champions Barbecue Alliance. You can find them on Facebook. It's got the Fred Robles and Roddy Trevino, the two ones that kind of head it, kind of created it. It's going to be something that's going to bridge the gap between IBCA style competitions here in Texas and KCBS. So if you don't know Fred Robles, he's basically not last year, but the year before's American Royal Open champion. So he's basically the king of barbecue. For last year, really this year until we get back to the American Royal.
It's pretty exciting. I mean, that's like breaking news there, right there, guys. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just check them out. If you're looking in to get it, I would do it. We're gonna try to do it when we can. When they get them all up and running. Just because it's gonna be different scoring system, different everything. It's gonna be something unique and something better. You're gonna be able to tell. If you turn in whatever meat, you're gonna be able to tell if you were first or if you were last, and every single meat and overall. So there's gonna be no more guessing on it.
And I think that's important too, Randy, because we've gone into competitions and we wondered where were we. We thought we turned in a great product and we never knew. Maybe we just missed the calls. I know sometimes they'll only take 12 to the final table or 10 or 16, whatever, on it. So that's right there is great. That's like instant breaking news. Just to kind of hop back real quick, you mentioned the ribs. Now, you go to a restaurant and almost every restaurant pulls fall off the bone ribs. What's the difference when you go to the competitions as far as your ribs? Because I know you don't want them to fall off a bone. It's the bite. I think it's the bite. You want to be able to bite into a rib and it stay on the bone. Go into that. I mean, because a lot of people go into it. Like I said, they go to a restaurant and people advertise it in their own thing saying, hey, we produce fall off the bone ribs. Why do you not want that really at a competition?
Yes, I mean, fall off the bone ribs are basically just overcooked. That's just a restaurant or kind of a backyard type thing. With it being competition, IBCA, like I said, you want it to be overcooked. So you're shooting, like if you're doing a KCBS cook-off, there is basically bite through. You're going to take the rib and bite it as big as you can, and you want to be able to keep that meat on there, but see your indentation of the meat and get it to the bone. With IBCA, you want it to be just along the lines of almost being fall off the bone, but still being that kind of bite through. Because like I said, they're going to take a plastic knife and fork and they're just going to cut it, and whatever they get on their fork, that's what they're going to judge you off of. So you got to kind of, like I said, just tread those waters of being almost overcooked. And if you do have a couple bones that are maybe overcooked, just kind of stick them in there and you can put them on the bottom. Just do whatever you can to make sure it's 9 pieces in there. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I've heard stories, people overcooking stuff and, someone having their pit fall on the ground and somehow still being able to finish first or second in brisket or whatever it was. So, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You just got to turn it in and leave it in the judge's hands.
That's it right there. And you are correct. I know it's a knife and a fork. They even do that with your briskets and other stuff. So that's something I know we learned in some competitions and was actually news to us when we heard it. So just kind of keep that in mind for sure on there. But that is, like I said, that's some great news about the new barbecue thing right there. That should add some stuff to it, because I know it's different. You go to one competition, it's one set of rules. You go to another competition, it's a different set of rules. But to know where you're actually placing, I'm just kind of stuck on that. It's really great because, like I said, I think it can only help you to know what you did, what you turned in compared to everybody else on there. Now, just kind of keeping in with that theme on it, where we're going to a cook-off. Tell us about the cook-off we're going to.
Yeah, so we are going to hold them and hit them down in New Caney, Texas. There is, they said, a little over 100 teams. They basically maxed out on teams on the 14th, so I kind of got lucky and paid for it the day before to get our spot. So it's just a little over 100 teams. I think over $10,000 payout. Pretty much, almost the who's barbecues going to be there. The guest that we're going to have on is going to be there. It's going to have a kids queue cook-off. I think they're having an SEA cook-off too, so you're going to have a steak night on Friday, so you're going to see a lot of teams go down there. They're trying to get their golden ticket for the World Food Championships here in Fort Worth. So you're going to have that, and then of course you'll have us cooking barbecue on Saturday. It's a lot of prep work. It's a lot of money that dropping for it, but thank goodness for that stimulus check. That's what's covering.
Oh, good old thing. We said no politics. No, I'm just messing with you. All right, but I'm glad you brought that in because you've been a great segue to our next guest. Go ahead and let's tell us about him, and we'll go ahead and get him going, and we'll jump into that. So tell us who our guest is this week.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be our guest, Kevin Caldwell of Wholey Smoked Cookers and Wholey Smoked Spice Company. And then we'll just, like I said, we'll go into talking his competitions, rubs, and just asking him a couple questions, getting to know him and his product.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you here after this break.
Now we have Dan Quinn coming in here. What are your initial thoughts? What are your feelings? And the fact that we're doing it so early is, I think, awesome. Personally, I'll let throw mine out there first. I'm excited about it. I'm really happy about it. I want you guys to talk about it now.
This guy has been to the Super Bowl twice. He won the Super Bowl once with the Seahawks. He went to the Super Bowl and was beating those Patriots, and then just loses in just this colossal, abysmal way.
Do you give him all of that though, because he wasn't the D coordinator? He was.
If he's a defensive
the head coach, so you got a lot of things going on. He's not calling the plays of defense. He has a defensive coordinator to do that.
You're the head coach, and you're billed as a defensive head coach. And if he's not liking the play, isn't he the head coach? Can he just say, "Oh, why are we doing this? Are we doing some ultra conservative thing?" Conservative play calling cost them the game. They had such a lead. If they would have kept their foot on the gas a little bit and made a little more dicier calls and not played conservative, they probably would have won that Super Bowl. If they lose, then he has to take all the blame, right? If we win, he's the one who's getting all the credit.
You talk about OCDCs, though, all the time. I mean, I think that's a big part of it. Taking the responsibility and having to micromanage all those different things and having him laser focus back on defense, I think is going to be great for not only him, but I think for the Cowboys. And it's a big-time move, and that's what I'm really excited about, that they didn't go for a guy that had ties to so-and-so or history with whoever. They went and they looked at who is the best candidates, and I think that they did their due diligence.
All right, so now we're going to bring on Kevin Caldwell of Wholey Smoked Cookers and Wholey Smoked Spice Company, and he's going to talk a little bit of competitions, barbecue in general, and talk about his rubs, so let's bring him on. So he's got some great rubs, him and Laura. They've got BFB, Foul Play, Genesis Rib Rub, IG Infinite Goodness, and then Picoso Rub. I think he's got something else coming out from what I've heard, so we'll ask him about that, but they're all good. Not just good on, chicken, beef, or pork. They're good for anything. We see a lot of right now they're killing it on the competition trail, but also you can use them in your home cooks.
Think, right?
Yeah. Now we
Hey.
can see you.
All right.
All right. So now we have Kevin Caldwell of Wholey Smoked Cookers and Wholey Smoked Spice Company. So why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself, Kevin, and just how you got started with Wholey Smoked Cookers and Spice Company.
Well, Kevin Caldwell started with a team of church buddies back in 2016. We got invited by, some people may know, the original Knob Creek Cookers. Scott Rhodes got us to go out and do a HOA cook-off, and we'll just say we were at a little trailer, old rusty pit from the 80s, and 10 by 10 pop-up canopy, and we had actually started doing serving and stuff. My wife had us doing selling plates for Wounded Warriors, and we were just sitting around saying, man, we thought we were pretty good with barbecue and thought we'd see how we do competing. Little did we were going to find out real quick how little we knew about barbecue. But yeah, that's it. So since then, the team's kind of changed around. I'm still here. Chris Stone, we call him the Chicken Diva. He used to come hang out with us at the cook-offs and party with us and just kind of be part. And he's grown into the team. And then you got some of you guys may have seen, if y'all seen me at cook-offs, you've probably seen a guy named No Legs there. He's got prosthetics. Good guy. He jumps in a lot of times, and other than our wives, our biggest supporters, that's really it for Wholey Smoke for the cook-off team.
So how did y'all come about the rubs?
So my original teammate David Newton. He got to a point where he wanted to start playing with flavors and making custom rubs that fit our flavor profile. And he started putting some together, and we started running those and having, some success with them here and there. And then we thought barbecue's expensive. So we were like, you know what, let's see if we can start selling these things and see if it'll start raising enough money to support our cook-off habit. So we started bottling at home, not really realizing how you bottle in bulk, and I don't know, it just shot off from there. So the more success we started having, the more it started selling, and where we're at today.
Yeah, and y'all got a lot of great products, and I think Laura's always posting on Instagram that you are getting close to hitting all 50 states now. You got maybe 4 or 5 left.
Yeah, there's only a handful left, so that's pretty exciting. This will be the year we focus on co-packer, so we're kind of at capacity. Poor Laura works nearly every day, packaging, bottling, labeling, shipping. I jump in a little bit here and there when we got big orders, but she handles the bulk of it. So this will be the year we go to a co-packer, and our next deal, once we've got sold in all 50 states, we're going to start hitting up stores. So that'll be our next feed, is get all 50 states in stores.
Oh yeah, that'd be something right there. Now, how did I know you're coming back from Vitter, Texas. How did that cook-off go?
It went good. It was tough. It's really hard if you're cooking an IBCA event right now. It's almost impossible to hide from people. I mean, it was stacked. You had Bill Purvis, Bill Breeden, Robert Smith, Caleb Warden, Mike Steele, Randall with Hideaway. But something exciting happened. This is the first time, from what I'm told we had Johnny and Patty Dunn. Patty was telling me that never in IBCA history has women won GC and RGC. And Michelle Castillo took GC, and Vivian Freeman took RGC. So it's pretty exciting to see that. So they whooped up on all us guys. So.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, they both right now are killing it right now. I know Michelle is, when she gets out there, she's usually getting a call on something.
Yeah, no, she did great. And then Vivian RGC'd it last year and RGC'd it this year, so she's on to something out there.
Oh yeah, she is for sure. So they are going to be someone to look out for when it comes to down the road for sure.
Yep. So
What?
and I got to taste Vivian's food. Everything was good. She did a good job. I get why the judges gave her such good scores.
Oh yeah. Well, everything looked good. I mean, everything that I saw from you too looked good. What all calls did you get?
Yeah, I got a ninth place chicken, which chicken seems to be our hit and miss category the most, and so that's 2 in the road that chicken did good, and then the ribs they tasted phenomenal. They looked good, but they didn't show up, and the brisket I ended up with 8th place overall, so not bad. I got out of my chair, and with that group of guys, that was plenty for me.
Oh yeah, especially when you got all the big dogs and women going there. One
Right.
call's better than no calls. So.
That's absolutely right. So there were some good guys that didn't get up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then next week you go into the big cook-off down in is it Warrington?
Wharton,
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah, the Trailer Place cook-off, 150 teams. So that's going to be a tough one too. I know Region 3, the South is coming in pretty strong on that one.
Oh yeah.
So I'll have to play with all them big boys. So yeah, that'll be fun. Again, if I can just that'll be one of those. If I can just give away one ticket, it'll be a success.
Yeah, or just at least make a final table and something, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's I don't know. I get excited about big cook-offs though, and I tend to do my best when there's a big cook-off. So most of my GCs are from 85 teams and up. I don't know why. I don't know if I just I quit stressing and I relax because you're thinking, man, if I can just get one walk, it's okay. You're there to have fun. I don't know if I just relax more or what, but yeah, I like them big cook-offs.
Yeah, there's probably no pressure on you. I mean, going into it, the chances are very slim that you're going to get one call.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
then you just go out and have fun.
Yeah, I know from up here when seeing you on Instagram and everything on Facebook, you're always posting like big cook-offs. And okay, let's see what he does, and all of a sudden here comes Mr. Caldwell getting a call on something. 100 plus teams. Like I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah. Yep. It's fun. I know when I started, I remember I used to always chase the little cook-offs because I was always scared of the big ones. But, it's one of them things that you just got to do what you do and hope that the judges agree. That's it.
Yeah. Now, does it mean more to you if you get a call, let's say, 85 plus teams than it is, like a 30-team call?
It kind of depends. I mean, it's like this cook-off this weekend. There was easily 25 teams that could have won the whole thing. I mean, you looked around. So I think honestly one of my favorites, or my success level, was when I went into Gatesville. There was only 26 teams there, but I mean, you had Bill Purvis, Bill Breeden, Robles was there, Lee Hickle, Paul Whitaker, Ira Green. I mean, there was just so many good teams there, and just I think I ended up with second chicken and second brisket. Jason Fagmiller was there. He won the thing, but I don't know. I think it depends who's there. I mean, when you get a walk with names like that, I think that's a bigger deal to me than the size of the cook-off. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, when you walk and there's 100 plus teams and definitely some good names there, that's exciting too. But I think the little ones are, for me, I think the little ones are harder. And when they're stacked like Gatesville and like Viter was this weekend, and you get up, I think I cherish that more than anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, what all when it comes to like, prep work for cook-offs, what all goes into it for you? Like you spending, because I know like Jason and all them will set aside one day, they'll trim chicken or do all the prepping before they get there. Do you do that, or you do Friday night trim everything?
Yeah, I like to do the Wednesday nights myself. That's usually the night that I'll trim everything up and make sure everything's vacuum sealed and the way I need. I mean, you don't want your chicken sitting in the fridge too long, or you got to freeze it. I think this week my schedule was messed up, and I had to do my chicken on Monday, so I ended up having to freeze it before it went. But yeah, Wednesday night. So normally I'll start, Monday night I'll start getting everything together and checking my stock and seeing what all I've got, make sure I've got everything I need, and if not, I'll hit stores. And then Wednesday night I'll do my trim and my prep work. So, a lot of these guys will show up to the cook-off and they're doing their trim and prep work Friday night. And I don't know, I think I used to do that, and I think that just adds a lot of stress to it. So, yeah, Wednesday night's the night.
Yeah, Wednesday night, get everything done. That's how I like to do it too, is get everything done Wednesday or Thursday, and then make sure everything's in the trailers ready to go Thursday for Friday. I mean, you're right. When you get there Friday, there's a lot of stress when you're having to trim briskets, everything there the Friday night. I'd rather, get there,
Yep.
relax, and then if you're going to inject Friday night or Saturday morning, whenever you got to do it.
Yep.
It's time to be
Well, it's
drinking and
nice
hanging out.
Right? And that's what I was about to hit is, it's the socializing. That's become my absolute favorite part of barbecue. And people that have known me for a long time know that, 3 years ago, I wasn't a social guy. I didn't really like going around to people I didn't know. But yeah, I love having my Friday night. I do my final push for prepping all the meat at 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock Friday night. So I like to get there early, set up, and go around and see everybody I haven't seen in a while. A lot of people hear people talk about barbecue family, and it's true. It's like you go there and it's, like you haven't seen people in forever. You just want to go and talk about life, talk about barbecue, and just see how everybody's doing. So if you got to prep on Friday night, do all the meats and stuff, you got to start so much earlier. You kind of miss out on that because Saturday starts the grind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with me, like I've never been that person, that's going to go and start a conversation. You come to me and, talk to me, that's a different story. But I've always been that person, quiet, shy. But like I tell a story, when we went down there for that rib cook off at the barbecue store, the moment we pulled in, you and everyone there was so friendly. Like, hey, what do you need? You got everything set up. Let's get you set up, situated. And even Saturday, being able to sit there and just, chill and talk with people, you've never met, you're friends with on Facebook and Instagram is totally different. And it's so awesome for them to, to do that and open up.
Yep. It's a brotherhood, and I found too, there's very few people that aren't willing to talk and be social and enjoyable to be hang around with. I mean, most of the people out there are really good people, and so it makes it worth it to get out there and get to know these guys, and you always learn something from them. You hear a little conversation, you hear little tidbits, and it makes you kind of cock your head like, I had never thought about that. So
yeah, that is true. And there is like so many people out there that won't tell you anything, but then you got you and Kurt and James and Fong there. That if you need something, have a question, they're willing to answer. I mean, some of us ain't looking for to steal recipes, but hints or something to help us learn and grow together. And then of course you got those people that they'll tell you, no, it's going to cost you, $300 to take my class. It's like, I'm not asking you to take a class. I'm just, chit-chatting.
And I get it. I get the people that want to be paid for their knowledge. I mean, it's an expensive sport. I mean, I can only imagine how many thousands of dollars I've spent each year getting to where I'm at. But at the same time, I mean, it's like you found out, I'm not going to sit down and I haven't gotten to a point where I'm willing to sit down and give you the full recipe, full process, but you got a question, ask me. I'll answer it, and I'll be honest about it. So And a lot of guys are that way. And I think that's the biggest part of me getting to where I'm having some success is the fact that people have been willing to stop and answer questions for me when I have them.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if I am looking for, an exact recipe on how you do something, then, if you want to tell me, it's going to be X amount of dollars, and then, that is a different story. I'll pay it, especially when it comes to class and stuff like that. That's no issue, but it's like you said, it was just a little question.
Yeah. Well, paying for a class is worth it. I mean, there's some guys out there that got some, phenomenal classes. In fact, if anybody's headed out to Wharton this weekend, they need to see if they can get out there. I think it's Thursday night. Fred Robles and them are doing a hot and fast class. Prep you up for that cook-off. But I mean, you got Clarence Joseph out there. I know he does classes. Mama and Papa Joe's. There's the Mike Steele's classes. I'm missing the name of it, but I know Craig Sherry's on there. Lee Hickle's on there. I mean, there's a lot of people you can pay and get a huge head start. I think the $300 to $500 or whatever it ends up costing it's worth it because, like I said, I went 2 years of doing cook-offs before I realized that I was way off on my barbecue. It's a long learning curve. You think about how much money you put out. That $300 to $500 or $1,000, depending on who it is very, very worth it.
Yeah, and you're talking about Barbecue Champs Academy?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of big-time pit masters on there, even, SCA cooks, too.
That's right. Yeah. I highly recommend anybody who wants to get into the sport or is just starting all that, they really should take a class if they could.
Now, what's your favorite thing to cook when you're just not doing cook-offs at home?
When I'm not doing cook-offs?
Yeah, like if you're just chilling at home.
Honestly, I'm loving steaks right now. My wife bought me a Rectech Bullseye, and I am an anti-pellet guy. I am the guy that likes to rib others for using them. But this one caught my eye. It's a kettle. I am loving using it. Chris Stone helped surprise me with it, and got grill grates. Man, I'm absolutely loving doing steaks. It's kind of neat trying to, because it's something quick and easy, good flavor. I get to try different rubs without, I struggle with the stuff I compete with, trying new rubs and different stuff, because you cook a brisket and you're 6 or 7 hours before you know what it's like. But steaks are different, man. You dust them, you get it hot, and 10 minutes later you're eating it. It's great. So
now, do you do the cooking at home, or is it Laura that does the cooking, or is it your daughters doing it?
It's a mixture. I know Kaylee and Allie, my two daughters, they enjoyed the Kids Cube pork cook-off, so they've been trying to get in the kitchen and cook some more. It's a mixture. I would say, 2 nights a week my girls do it, about 2 nights a week I do, and about 2 nights a week Laura does. Now, if it's on the weekend and we're going to do barbecue and stuff, normally it's me. But even Laura's gotten out there and fired up the pit and done meatloafs and pork loins, and it's a collective effort. I used to be the cook in the family majority of the time, but Laura, she's, with this whole rub deal and all that, she gets excited. She loves getting into it.
Yeah, I can see that just from the messages and stuff she sends me when we just talk about rubs, or sending you something like you got a care package coming on Monday. So
nice. Yeah, she loves it. She's got a passion too, and I tell you what, there's nothing more rewarding than having a hobby that both your wife and your kids are involved in. It makes it so much easier for me to be able to go do what I do today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, getting more into your rubs, let's talk flavor profiles for the people that may not have tried it. Let's start with foul play. What's that profile?
So foul play is it's labeled as my chicken rub, but Jason Sagmiller says that I missed the mark on that because he thinks it's one of the best seasonal all-purpose rubs. But it's got a little sugar in it, salty, savory. Actually, my favorite thing to cook with it is chicken wings, bone-in chicken wings over charcoal. Not spicy, little on the salty side. Just good savory flavor. Works, but it works good on everything. People have done steaks with it, baked potatoes, vegetables, all that stuff. So, and next, Genesis.
Yeah.
So Genesis is my competition rib rub. I've seen people do briskets with it, steaks, all kinds of stuff, but I prefer it with pork. It's a little sweeter, a little savory. Got a hint of cinnamon in it. Not enough to be overpowering, but it's just it's a very complex, very savory pork rub. Pairs very well with Big Salinas barbecue sauce.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's I'll go ahead and say, I mean, my ribs are Picoso base layer with Genesis and then Big Salinas on it. So people love it.
Now, speaking of that, the Picoso rub, since you already mentioned it, is it just like your Infinite Goodness, but just with a kick?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a kick to it. Got a pepper that not many people use out there. And I think the biggest thing is not the heat, because I like to use it as my base layer to give you a little bit of a spice on the back end without being hot. But it's got a flavor to it that, especially with beef, I like it on chicken, I like it on ribs, I use it on all three meats. But especially with beef, it makes a really good steak base layer, because it really does that flavor, man. It really pulls out that beef flavor really good. I also have Picoso eggs, those that twice as hot. Had to do that to be able to sell my roast down in the valley, because they, down there they said you can't call my other one Picoso because it really isn't. But so if you want some really good heat and pop, get that Picoso egg.
Okay. And then you got the BFB, right? I think that's the last one.
Yeah, so you got Infinite Goodness and BFB. Infinite Goodness is an SCG without the kick. It's good on everything: vegetables, fish, beef, poultry, you name it, it's good on it. The BFB, that is my pork butt rub. That's also the rub that my girls are running on their competition pork chops. Again, it's a salty, savory, just really good pork rub. I've only competed in pork butt 4 times. I know with Humble last year, I was right around the 15 out of 106 with it. And I also did Montgomery County Fair 2 years ago. I ended up, I think it was 4th place pork butt. And that's all BFB.
Yeah, that when I do pork butts, I'll use the Picoso rub as a base layer and then hit that BFB on it, and it comes out the best combination of pork butt you can ever get. I mean, I use it for caterings, and people are, oh my goodness, that's so good. What's in it? I can't tell you what everything else goes into it, but it's really is amazing. So I know you talked about getting with David Newton and Blazing Bones now, since they separated. Did you continue doing the rubs, or did you just start making your own? What made you come out with all these great rubs?
Well, so Foul Play Genesis, and then he and I built IG together. BFB was mine, so those were part of it before we separated. And then Chris Stone and I came up with the Picoso. We wanted something with a little heat, a little kick to it. So, and we've got a couple others coming out. We've had some people that have put some rubs together and asked us to try them, asked us to run them, asked us to sell them. And so we've got some other ones coming, like Revelations, which is a coarse rub. A good friend of mine made that one for beef, and he's also got a he also gave me a seafood rub that I ran at a open competition one time, and he doesn't want to be part of it. He just wants to help create new rubs as well. So not only are we trying to come up with our own, but we got other people who are like, hey, take this and see what you think about it, tweak it, and I'd like to see it sell. So it's a group effort pretty much.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I know I see you using a lot of ant products too. What
Yep.
what other rubs do y'all use besides y'all's that you'd recommend?
So I don't compete with his rubs yet. Again, I have a hard time changing rubs and testing and all that, but I cook with it all the time. And my two favorite that I use the most is ant beef and ant fire. So I love dusting ant fire on my food as when it's already plated. And I tell you what, I tell everybody, if you like Velveeta shells and cheese, put some ant fire on it. A whole new level. But yeah, especially like it's beef. So if we do a steak competition or we're cooking at home, I'll take and use Picoso base layer with ant beef on it. And let me tell you what, that makes a phenomenal steak. So I think the only other big name rub we keep in our cabinet is Chupacabra, which I love that brisket magic. And Alton Harris got a special place in my heart. So we'll run Chupacabra catering, and we've cooked with it lots of times. It'll go on there. I think I have his entire line of rubs in there as well.
He's got a lot of good rubs out there, for sure.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Good flavors.
And he's always got that cigar. Always got that cigar in his mouth. I don't think I've ever seen a picture without it.
He does, and man, if you ever get a chance to sit down and talk with him, do it. He's very kind. He feels like grandpa immediately. I mean, you feel like he's family. He's a really good guy, really nice, and he's been available to me too. I've called and asked him questions about business and that, and he's always been very kind and very welcoming to us. So.
Yeah. Now it's if for those backyard cooks, let's say someone just getting into cooking and they're unsure about anything, is there anything that you would, off the top of your head, recommend for them to try?
Yeah, like flavor-wise or cook or what?
Yeah, let's say, if they're cooking, brisket, like, is there something that you'd recommend for them to do, if they're having, struggling with getting a good brisket, just in the backyard?
I think the biggest thing is learning the feel of the brisket. A lot of people, the biggest question I get asked is what temperature, and it's not a temperature, it's a feel. If they can get around somebody that can cook a good brisket, feel how you probe, I think that's the number one thing. That, and the next biggest thing is the rest. Don't be afraid to let that thing rest at least an hour, if not 2 hours after you're done cooking it, because I think that's when it sponges back up, it relaxes and brings them juices back in. But yeah, the feel is the number one thing. It's I've had briskets even at competitions that finished at 195 to 198, and then I've had some that I've had to run 215. It's all about the feel of it and getting the fibers to break loose. Especially on brisket, I don't think the rub on the outside makes as big of a difference. I think it's more the cook process, because you can make a good brisket with salt, pepper, garlic, and onion, or you can do it with complex flavors. I mean, there's a lot of good rubs out there, but nailing that cook time down. And you hear all the old timers say cook low and slow and all that, and to be honest with you, I found I'm a hot and fast guy. I do it because of how my competition meets are. I don't like getting out there, start cooking at 10 o'clock at night and cooking until 10 o'clock the next day. But I found that hot and fast, you have to manage it a little better, but the consistency is better. You don't have to stall. You push through, and don't don't be afraid to try that hot and fast. I mean, this weekend, for the second time ever, I slept in an hour late. I missed my alarm, and my pit was running at 370. That's how I started my brisket. And then by 11 o'clock, I was caught up to my normal time. I'd made up that hour and still walked with it. So don't be afraid to cook hot and fast and push that brisket. You know, I've heard so many people say that'll dry it out or that'll make it tough. It's not true. Not if you rest it right.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Now, what do you use charcoal? What kind of wood do you prefer?
So I prefer post oak. I like throwing especially if I'm catering, I'll throw some sticks of mesquite in there, maybe like a 3 post oak to 1 mesquite ratio. I like my Race Crew drum smoker, which, by the way, if y'all want a new drum, you want a nice one, hit up my boy Jason Sagmiller. He makes some of the best ones out there. But I use B&B charcoal in that. I like lump. And I'll throw, if I need smoke at a certain point, I'll throw a few chunks of root wood in there. But yeah, post oak and B&B are and I actually even, but that's my preference. I start everything with charcoal. But yeah, I'm offset it to get the bed of coals to the charcoal, start throwing some post oak logs on there.
Post oak is really, really good. I know the first cook-off we did last year of 2020, we used post oak because that's all I could get, and we ended up getting 5th out of it. And that was the first time using post oak, but I used mostly just pecan just because of the flavor of it.
Yeah,
You
pecan's
can cook
good.
it. You can cook it hot and fast and not have to worry about it getting too much smoke in there.
Right. No, I agree. Pecan's good also. I mean, I've got a stack of pecan at home I'll cook with too, but I think for me, I just, with competition meats, I don't like the smoke to overpower, and post oak, you get it good and hot, it burns long, and the smoke's mild, so it allows me to work with my flavors on my injections and my rubs a little more. But that's just me. I see a lot of people, I see hickory being used out there, fruit woods, mesquite, all that, but that's just, that's my preference.
Now, where can the listeners go to buy your rubs? What stores are they in, and then can they go online?
I'm in Clevenger's up in Pennsylvania. That's my out-of-state place. I am in Chard 380 up there by you. I am the barbecue store. They ship all over the United States. I think they told me the other day they were shipping my rubs to Minnesota for somebody. But the barbecue store's got everything. You can get everything in one stop, and they'll even ship out of state for you, and you'd be surprised how fast you can get it. I'm in Rio Valley Meats down in the south. I've got Smitty's Smokehouse in Tomball, Machak's in Conroe, Papa Joe's over in Hutto. They're a recent one. We just restocked them. Got Crawford's up in, what town is it? They're up in Gustavus and, Crawford's, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. Those are the ones I know off the top of my head for sure. So, and of course, you can always wholeysmoked.com, WHOLEYSMOKED.com, and in the Laureltech area.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so make sure you are taken care of, for sure.
Yep.
And of course, with the barbecue store, for the listeners, if you want to purchase their rubs and our sauce, just hit up the barbecue store and they'll ship both of them. That'll save you time and money.
That's right.
You go to one place and get everything you need. And of course, before we let you go, is there anything you have questions for us? Is there people you want to thank?
I want to thank everybody. I mean, your support has been great. Your sauce has been great. There's a lot of people I use, War Pig, Lucky Charms, and all that. All the family and the cooks that have given me advice over the year, I'd like to thank them. And more than anything, I'd like to thank. You know, he passed away back in November, and one of my biggest supporters, and he was always there for me. So, you know, I still cook in his honor and his name. And lastly, I'd like to thank my wife, man. She's endured years of not only my bad attitude because of disappointment and the money that we've spent on this thing, and you know, I couldn't do it without her. So definitely Laura and Chris Stone too, my teammate. Chris Stone and No Legs, man. They couldn't ask for a better team.
Oh yeah,
So,
for sure. For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and then certainly we just want to thank you too, you and Laura and Chris, for everything y'all done for us. You know, I know y'all probably get tired, you know, hearing us say thank you, but honestly, again, thank you. I mean, 2020 without y'all and not without James Ledbetter, you know, y'all rocking it in the competition trail for us when we couldn't, you know, us being able to be where we are, you know, wouldn't be with, you know, we wouldn't be where we were or are without y'all for sure. So.
Well, thank you for saying that. I've enjoyed it, man. Like I said, you know, I love your product on my ribs, and the girls, they love your original on everything else. So first thing they do whenever they're eating something they want sauce on is grab that Salinas original.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I love hearing, you know, when I know I shipped you the hat and the flag. When I got that message from Laura saying, hey, you know, I guess she has the hat and she thinks it's the hat and the flag is hers now. You know, that's something, you know,
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. You know, that'll make you,
That's all
you
right.
know, smile from ear to ear.
It's awesome. Well, it's been enjoyable watching you succeed. So I hope you continue to grow.
Us too. I mean, like I tell you, I mean, we want to build an empire, and we want to build an empire that allows all these other small businesses to grow with us. We're not just looking to make, you know, $1 million just by ourselves. We're looking to make $1 million, but with everybody else coming along for the ride. You know, that's what makes this country, you know, great, is when we're all coming together and succeeding together. So.
Yep. No, it's great. It's nice seeing the support for each other.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, but thank you for coming on. We do appreciate it, and hope you have a safe ride home. And we look forward to seeing you down the road.
Sounds good, but I appreciate you having me on. Y'all take care.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Is this Philly Rivers' last game? I read a report on there that said if it is, he's already got a plan for what he's going to do, which I guess is coach one of his sons, one of his 18 kids, football teams or something like that. So my take was,
nice.
if the guy has already made the plans for what he is going to do when he is done, then his mentality, his mindset is, I am done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your guys' take is.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the old Brett Favre situation without the dramatics, right? Like he's not the type of guy that's gonna hang out at his compound, invite the media out there, and make a big deal about it, whether he's gonna come back or not. How do you feel about Hall of Fame? Because we are talking about the end of his career. He was a great quarterback. I think he'll be remembered well. If you look at just like numbers wise, he's up there.
He's a solid quarterback. Can you even call him an elite quarterback? I just don't see the numbers supporting him. He's got a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of good things to say about him, but I don't see anything that says that he's going to be a Hall of Fame. Maybe if there's nobody else and they just need to put somebody in.
All right, we are back from that. What a great interview with Kevin Caldwell from Wholey Smoked and Wholey Smoked Cookers. Said that right. So he get a lot of great information from him. I learned a lot. I've got a bunch of questions down, Randy, that I'm just going to kind of rapid fire at you here and answer them the best way you can. Here, I know one thing he talked about at these cook-offs, and the one we're going to this coming up week was the brotherhood, like that. Just kind of go into what you think about it. Again, like sharing those ideas, communicate with those other cookers, which we've said in the past is one thing we love to do. Tell us about that. I mean, from your point of view.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just about helping each other out, supporting each other. Whether if they have a barbecue product or whatever it is, just supporting them, giving them shout outs, following them on Instagram, what all those platforms, to kind of help them out and bring their name out there. But when you go to a cook-off, sometimes you may forget something, or you may be running out of time or whatever. A lot of those teams will say, here's our golf cart, here we're heading over there, hop in and will help us out. Those little things make it fun to go to this cook-offs, because it's not just about going out there and winning. And at the end of the day, you want to beat everybody else and they want to beat you, but you want to build those friendships and those bonds that's going to stand there for years and years to come.
Absolutely. Now, have you ever gone to one, Randy? I know we've been to several. Have you ever been to one and be like, I want to beat this person? Have you ever had that? Like, if I don't win at all, as long as I beat them.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, when we did what was it, Jambo's, Jamie Gear's cook-off that he did 2 years ago before.
Out there in Phoenix,
yes. Last year. Shut it. Yeah. There was one team out there, you had the hour before Mason, and Mason didn't get up, so you actually got up and went and checked the fire, and the fire was out. And there was one team there that kind of was just looking over at you and me, trying to get the fire back up and just laughing. And just kind of had this cockiness of, I'm a grand champion, I've done there, I'm from Florida, that kind of arrogance to him. And it's like, you know what, okay, next cook-off we see you, that's the team to beat. And lo and behold, 4 or 5 months later, we're in, what was it? We're at a Harley Davidson store in...
it was the Pink Souls competition.
Yeah, Pink Souls cook-off. Yeah. Over there by like Louisville area. And he happened to roll in and you were at work, and I remember texting and saying, hey, so-and-so is here. It doesn't matter, whatever we place, I just want to beat him.
Yeah.
We, got call in beans. We got a call, second place in ribs. We thought everything else was good, but, he left all mad and we left, ecstatic because, when we went up against, several good cooks, Cody Malin of Smoking Aces Barbecue was there. Jack Cashman of Cashman's Q Barbecue was there. Jason Sagmiller of Race Crew Barbecue was there. Alan Freeman with Chica Pical was there. So, you had all these top teams there. And for us to finish second in ribs, with us not hitting anything was kind of, another award in itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did really well in that competition, and that is great beating them. Now, like I said, he really talked about a lot of stuff. What is the difference is do you cook it different? What do you different from your backyard? Like if you're just making a brisket for us, as opposed to when you're making your brisket for your cook-offs, what's the difference between those?
For us, like when I'm cooking for us, I just cook like I'm, catering, kind of honing on those skills. So I'll trim it the same way, almost kind of along the lines of the Aaron Franklin method when it comes to trimming. And I'll still season it with our Noble rub. And then kind of differs, if we're cooking a lot, then, I'll fire up the big pit. But if we're just cooking, just a brisket or whatever, then I'll possibly fire up the drum and maybe kind of, still work on that as well. Now, when it comes to like competitions, I'll inject, even if I'm just practicing in the backyard, I'll still inject, still trying to season everything I can, do everything I can, like I'm going to do a cook-off and try to get that timeline down so that way when you go to a cook-off, you know what your timeline is almost.
Gotcha. And then you mentioned brisket. What is usually the rule, the kind of, I don't know, I guess it's different rules of thumb for letting the brisket rest? I know you had to educate me on it one time on it. What is usually something you do, and kind of some tips on that, just kind of be careful with, because I know when you do let it rest, it can still cook. So what's your kind of method on that?
So when it's done, I'll take it out and leave it either on the counter for about 45 minutes to an hour. If you're wrapping in foil, open the foil up so that way the heat comes out. If it's just in butcher paper, you don't need to worry about it because the butcher paper is not going to still cook it like it will foil, because the foil would, keeps that heat in. So you need to let that heat out. But I'll leave it out for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then I'll wake up, put it in the Cambro, or you can put it in the cooler, put some towels around it, and just kind of leave it crack for a little bit for maybe another 30 minutes or so. Just so that way if there's any more steam that needs to come out, it can come out. Because you don't want to, get it perfect, throw it in a cooler, throw it in a Cambro, put your blanket, towels, whatever you want down on there. And then when you go to slice it, 4 or 5 hours later, and it falls apart. When you have that happen, that's what you did. You put a hot piece of meat in a hot cooler, and it just continues to cook. Because if you take it out of, 225, 250, when you put it in the cooler or Cambro, that heat's just going to stay in there and it's going to continue to cook. So you're going to get it, 5 or 10 degrees more than what you want. Now if we go to cook-off, like this cook-off, I'll probably let it just rest an hour on the counter, or just about, just so that way it can absorb some of that moisture back in there. But when I rest it, I'm shooting for about 4 hours. Depending on how many briskets you're cooking, if you're cooking, 6, 7 briskets, you can put them all in once and you can let it, rest for about 6, 8 hours or more. I mean, I've had it to where I've put 2 in there and come back 12 hours later and it's still freaking hot. So it just kind of depends on what you want. Just try it.
Absolutely. Now, what is he mentioned? What are some? He mentioned rubs and some of the things, like his rubs that are in his pantry. What rubs do you have in the pantry, other than, of course, our own? What do you have? What's some of your other favorite rubs to use?
So I have all his lines. The BFB, Genesis Rib Rub, the Foul Play, the IG, and the Picoso Rub. I also have Amp, their pig, beef, chicken, and all-purpose. I have Crawford Seasonal. If you're looking for a good seasonal rub, give Crawford's stuff a try. His is the best rub on the planet. It was voted this past year, 2020, best rub on the planet. So there's no doubt in that one. I also have Suckle Busters, some stuff of theirs, Cosmos Q, the Dirty Bird Hot, Cow Cover, their SPG, and then of course, we have some other stuff that we're trying for some people, Blazing Bone stuff, just to name a few. I think there may be some more. GC's, I have a couple bottles of his Spicy Caballero. I have some of his rubs as well.
Gotcha. Now he said he uses his rubs, and he's used our rubs and some other rubs on different items. Have you tried that? Like, what's some other stuff you've put a rub on, or a seasoning on? I mean, not necessarily a rub, but a seasoning on. I think he said he's used it on vegetables and all kinds of other stuff. What have you used it with?
Yes, I mean, I've used like on the sausage biscuits that you get frozen from Walmart. Season, whatever your favorite rub with it. Season that with it. Eggs. Season that with whatever. Just kind of go different with salt and pepper. With like salsa, I've used our Wholey garlic rub on the salsa. Kind of give it that extra kick of garlic and pepper. And then there's kind of whatever we're in the mood for. I just kind of experiment. Now, I know if the Whistles are going to come over, I know I can go a little hot for Jeff or Mason or Brooklyn or whoever. So I can experiment on that level just to see what happens. But sometimes you kind of forget the level of hot on rubs. You kind of just spreading it. You go to bite and you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, I put too much.
Yeah, I could see that. Now we asked him this question, and let's ask it to you. We're kind of going backwards on the whole rub talk. What got you wanting to do your own rub? I mean, what's the inspiration to saying, hey, because I know you didn't do it for a while, and now you've got 3 different kinds, or 4 different kinds, really. What kind of inspired you to say, hey, let me try my own, let me try this, venture into this kind of way of going about it?
Oh, well, I mean, it gets expensive when you're using someone else's rubs. If you're going to cater or something, you want to have something more than salt and pepper. Yeah, a lot of restaurants will have, salt and pepper, like, Franklin's, but those top ones here in DFW, like Hurtado's Barbecue, they're not just using salt and pepper. He's using some other kind of rub to go with it, whether it's paprika, cumin, chili powder, whatever it is. So, I mean, I want to say maybe 4 years ago was when I kind of came across making the Noble rub, and it kind of had it sitting there. I would only pull it out when it came to briskets, season it with briskets. And as the years gone by, people have fell in love with the briskets and fell in love with it, and it's just come out better. And then, it wasn't until this year when he said, you know what, why not just have 2 sauces and one rub? Let's just go ahead and see what else we can knock out the park and see what else we can do. I mean, yeah, because it's about making money, but it's just about getting people more options to try.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. More options that, hey, let me try this, let me try that. I know we've had some good things on it now. Just to kind of step away on it here, the sauce, you mentioned the spice level. I know everybody's spice level is different. My spice level might not be like yours, or Chris's might be way bigger, more than ours. He might be able to handle more spices than us, or he might not be able to handle spices at all. Who knows?
Yeah.
We got a great review about our spicy sauce on it. And if you haven't seen it, go to Big Salinas Barbecue. And on the Facebook, hit us up on the Facebook thing, and you can actually read it there. And she kind of talks about the spice level and how it was really, at her level, it was just kind of a 3 out of a 10. And so she's saying basically it could have been spicy. Now she said it was finger licking good. She was eating it, she was just tasting the sauce. She didn't even need it. So I read this thing a couple times. I loved it. So what was your thoughts on that? Just on that review first in general.
I mean, it was her honest opinion of it. And when I sent it to her, she, first thing she said was, don't be upset if you don't get the review that you want. It's going to be my honest opinion. I said, you know what? It doesn't matter whether it's good review or bad review. Your honest opinion is what we're looking for. That's what makes us better. There are those people that won't like those bad reviews and they'll delete them, from their mind and, from online. If you give us a bad review on our sauce, we'll still put it up there because, yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit, but you know what? That's going to make us better because, we may want to come out with something better to draw your attention back. But when I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, that's, what everyone's been saying. And for those that don't know, haven't tried it, just gives them the ability to be able to go and read someone's review of it. And only thing she does is she just tries different spices, and she'll tell you, if it's something good for you to try, what it's good on, everything.
Yeah, she really did give a great one on it. We'll actually, like I said, you can find it up on Facebook right now. I will put it on the website, BigSalinasBarbecue.com. It will be on there here later today, so you can actually see the full review on it. And I think that's the big thing. It's like we tell people to give us your opinion on it. It was really good. We liked it, but that does pose the question, are you going to come out with a hotter spicy sauce? I know we have it spicy. Are you going to make it extra spicy? Or I'm sure we can come up with a different name, but are you looking at maybe going into that route? Did that kind of open it there to saying, hey, let's make it hotter, let's take it to a different hot level? I
mean, we could, but It's like I tell you, I don't want it to be too hot. I want to be able to have the people, like myself, who don't really like spicy stuff, to be able to enjoy it. When you get along the lines, of like Chelsea's family, they want it something, hot. They want that Carolina Reaper kind of hot. When you get along those lines, you're not getting into barbecue sauce. You're getting into, hot sauce type stuff. And
Great.
I don't want to get it to where it's, considered a hot sauce. I still want it to be enjoyable. So, we may up the level on it with something coming out. But we still want, like I said, we still want it to be enjoyable for people who don't like spicy stuff.
Absolutely. And I think we could probably come up with, maybe if they say, hey, I want it extra spicy, we can come up with something on the side that they can put in the bottle, shake the bottle up a little bit, and then it's now to their spice level. But I think she said it best. Like I said, I'm just reading the review again for the, fourth time, but it says the more you have, the warmth you get, but it still remains manageable. And I think that's what you're saying. You just want it to still take it away there, because you're right. We've been to some places and it's so hot, that's all you taste. You forget about the meat. You don't even taste the spices. It overpowers everything, and that's certainly something that we don't want to do. And because you're right, we don't do spices that well. I don't do it too well. It doesn't agree with my stomach, so I don't need something that's gonna make it upset where I'm on the bathroom all night, for sure.
Same. I can't handle that stuff. And I get so much crap for being Hispanic and not being able to handle it.
We do too. It's like but you're Mexican. You should be able to handle it. No, not all Mexicans like spicy food.
Right. But speaking of Facebook, guys, we've been running. You guys had a post on your Facebook since last episode, trying to get people to send us in stuff that kind of represents a tailgate. It is playoff time. We just got done with the college football championship, so a lot of tailgate happening. We got a lot of great entries, man. You want to kind of go through that, and then maybe let's pick
Absolutely. So we did get a lot of great entries in our tailgating contest. It was really tough. I know we were looking at it and to pick our winner. I know it really came down to for me it came down to 3 or 4, and I had to make some difficult decisions to pick mine. But we have John Martin's, it was really good. We had a bunch of ribs, we had some briskets. There was a John Gonzalez that had a really good spread out there. Chad Warden, he did some ribs that to me were just mouth-watering. I had a real good. And then I think Greg Tappan, and I do apologize if I mispronounced any of these last names or anything. He came out with one. It looks like a sandwich, pulled pork sandwich with some fries on there. Israel Bazin had some brisket that's just, you can see the juices coming from it. To me, those all scream tailgate. I'm at the game, we're watching the college football championship, or we're watching the playoffs, or we're watching whatever. These are what you want at these places. This is what I would love to have at a tailgate. Each and every one of these there, I would be in heaven. I'd get my foot grub on, get all nice and full, go watch a great game, and then that's it. So I don't spend the $40 on a hot dog that's, at Charity World or something like that. So I think it came down to 2 finalists. Came down to a Chad Warden and a John Martin, and the winner was, Randy?
Mr. John Martin.
It was really good. His spread was really good. It looks like a mixture of maybe some pulled pork. He had some coleslaw. It really was really good. Like I said, it came down to a lot for me. So John Martin wins. What does he win?
He's getting a bottle of our original and spicy sauce, the Noble Rub, the Porker Rub, Hot Porker Rub, and our Holy God Rub. So.
Awesome. So we will get that out to you. We'll be in details. Get that shipped out to you here, and congratulations on that, and keep them coming. I'm sure, like I said, we have all the ones coming in. Keep your reviews coming in. Now, we did have some kind of questions for some people that we got from our listeners. So we'll do that real quick, and then we'll announce. I'm sure we have another contest that we're going to run. I love these contests, by the way. It's really great interaction from our listeners and our customers.
Yeah,
so
I'd love to see what you guys are cooking at home, man.
Absolutely.
It's inspiring for me as somebody who's not like you guys were. Definitely inspiring me.
Absolutely. That may be our next. That may be the next content. Just not necessarily barbecue, but maybe just what in general are you cooking? I like that kind of as an idea. It's like just because I know I've seen some fish being cooked. I've seen some stuff that's like, oh wow, I'm on. There's no invite to your house. I can't come and just crash the party. But couple of questions here, and then like I said, we'll get that next contest announced. Randy, where? And one of the questions was, do you have a general menu of what we cook and sell? Where could they find that? Where could somebody go and find that?
BigSalinasBarbecue.com.
Pretty simple. Now, if you do need something else cooked, you can go there. You can hit us up on all the social media saying, hey, I want this cooked instead. There's nothing we really haven't cooked or wouldn't cook for you. If we can't cook it, or we're just like, hey, we don't want to mess it up or something, we can get you pointed in the right direction. So don't hesitate to ask, saying, hey, I want some fajitas done, or I want this done. That stuff we can do as well. Now, the next thing is the map on there. Now, you announced there was a couple new states. What new states did we add to this map? As I'm looking at it, it's starting to get pretty full. Which ones did we add?
Utah and Arizona.
And Arizona. So we still have to, if you know people in other states that we haven't filled, you can go to our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and see that. We're there. We're almost got them all. Some of them will be kind of hard to get, but I think we're getting to where we're filling up this map of where our sauces are at, where we've sold that. So that's really exciting from there. Now, is there any... I know you've talked about you wanted to get like another drum. Do you have a new drum coming in your future, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting with James Ledbetter. We already have the idea of the next two we're going to get. Because with the CBA, Champions Barbecue Alliance that I mentioned earlier in the episode, they're going to have brisket category, rib category, chicken category, but now their thing is they're bringing pork back, so we're going to have to cook pork as well. So we're going to need at least 3 drums, so I'll probably get 2 more from PK smokers, and then use that short rib drum smoker to cook something or make, sell that one and just get 4 from James, but that's something that I'll consider when we get there. For this cook-off that we're going to next weekend, we're just rocking the 2 that we got, and whatever happens, happens.
That's how you do it. That's the way to do it. Now, just a little quick thing here. We still are looking at it here. We're still running a special. You can get the Big Salinas Original, the Noble Rub, and the Spicy Sauce for 20% off. Up until the end of the month, if you use a coupon code Get Hooked. So take advantage of that. Get your 20% off those things, and like I said, you will not regret getting it at all. Now, what about? I know that we talked about it in the interview. What about doing, like, what's big about getting the people want to know? Do you get your family involved? I know they said Caldwell, he gets his whole family involved. I know we do some stuff. What about it to you about just getting other people involved and getting the next generation, the kids learning how to cook and barbecue? What kind of skills do you like to pass on? I know Mason loves to get involved, and so does Nick. So, and then one day Eden will when she gets old enough. So, what do you kind of take into that?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever they want to learn. I've always told Mason, whenever he's at a cook-off, just to kind of watch and learn. But I don't want to give him recipes and everything until I have it down myself. But I've taught him how to cook chicken by himself. Trim a brisket, ribs, season them, so he knows how to do those. Now it's just getting into cooking it. And the same thing with Nick. Nick, if he's cooking steaks or something at home and he's not sure of it, they know they can just send me a text or message me on whatever social media site. I'll help them. And then, of course, they will always send me a picture and say, what did you think? My mom and dad, they said they loved it, but I didn't love it. And I tell them, you know what? To be honest, it looked good, but maybe it was overcooked or whatever. But your parents are always going to want to be nice. So you're going to have to be your hardest critic. If you don't like it, just say, oh, yeah, I didn't like it. I hated it. It's disgusting, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to be honest with yourself.
That's a good point, because I think that's one thing you have to remember, especially when it comes to kids, your parents are not going to tell you. They want to keep your confidence up, and you should always have your confidence up, but they're going to say, hey, it was good, and it might not have been that good. But even as an adult and stuff, if you didn't like it, be your own worst critic, basically, because if you're not happy with it, somebody else might not be. But that's a very good thing, is to give them that honest feedback. It's the only way that's going to make somebody better. If you keep telling them it's great and it's not so great, like some places that we've been that have not so great barbecue, and people say, oh, it's great, but it's really not. So we keep that going. Now, what is your recommendation here? If I'm deciding, hey, let's do, it's coming close to time where, Lent and stuff is going to be rolling around in a month or so. So it's going to be fish and stuff on Fridays and stuff. So if we were making shrimp, what's the best way cooking it, preparing it for you? What's your recommendation?
I've done it grilled shrimp. So basically, I just buy the jumbo shrimp, the biggest shrimp that you can buy at Walmart, the frozen one, the one that's already deveined. Now, of course, if you're in Louisiana or near Corpus or wherever you can get fresh shrimp, get it fresh and then devein it, clean and everything. But once I get them thawed, I'll hit it with a little bit of olive oil, and then just go over it with some seasoning. So you can use whatever seasoning that you love. The seasoning that I kind of love for shrimp is Texas oil dust. Has a barnyard pimp rub. Sprinkle it with that and just kind of toss it around. Put them on some wooden skewers, and then take them to the grill. With you grilling them, I'd recommend grilling them indirect for about a minute or two on each side. Once you just want to cook it until they get they start turning that pinkish color, and then just sauce them, and then go right over the fire just for 30 seconds or so on each side, and just kind of get it to be cooked. And you want to just kind of get that char off of it, and it'll come out really, really good. And of course, you can always fry it, if you've got an air fryer or something.
Yeah, for sure. The air fryer's not bad. It helps out a lot. For me, that we can't grill out here at the thing. Now, what is something for me? One thing I want us to cook is a whole hog. I know that's something that you want to cook as well. What's something else that you want to cook that maybe you haven't, or you want to do it again to see if you can perfect it and get it better?
I wouldn't mind cooking a prime rib.
Get that nice medium rare. I know one time we did some crawfish. I know that's coming around the season. We'll probably try that again, see if we can perfect that. And that's just like I said, it's going to tell people stuff we try. We love to try it. Try new things to cook it. If there's something you say, hey, try cooking this, like I said, tell us, let us know. We're definitely willing to try it. I know we're trying to do the whole hog thing. It's something we wanted to do. I was watching, I think it's Chef's Table, and there was a guy in South Carolina that's all he does is whole hog. And it just was like, wow, we need to try that, because that's something I want to try and do. But there's a different thing to it for sure. Way of doing it. So let's see here, our next kind of contest here before we get everything going. What are you thinking, Randy? What are you thinking for our next contest? No idea. I like the idea. Like I said, I like Chris's idea of just showing other people different what you cook. Maybe we dive into the kids cook on it. Let's get some pictures of what your kids have cooked for us. If you're willing to do the same thing, our same giveaway, the original sauce, the spicy sauce, and then our noble rub. Now, then let's get some pictures of the kids out there cooking, or the wife out there cooking. We'll settle for that. What did they barbecue? What did they cook? And it could be anything. Let's just dive it into anything, and let's get those submissions submitted. Now, the best way to enter those contests, we will put it out there on our social media, is to put it, is to just send your picture into that one. Usually Randy makes it a featured post, a pinned post. So it's the first one you get when you go to Big Salinas Barbecue. Put it in there. We'll get it on there. So show us what your kids are cooking. Show us what they're grilling up, or what they're cooking, and we'll get some stuff submitted as we meet again here in a couple weeks to do it. Now, let's see. We do have some other stuff. What some other products are that you're selling now is the holy garlic, the hot pork rub, and the spicy pork rub. Are those available for sale right now? Or are we still?
The holy garlic rub is officially out. The hot porker and porker rub, but there's just a little bit of sample bottles left.
Okay. How can they get those? How can they get the sample bottles if they want to try those?
Just BigSalinasBarbecue.com.
All right.
And it's all up there. You just got to, when you get to the site, go to order sauce, and then sauces and rubs, and it will be up there. You just got to look for it.
There it is. So BigSalinasBarbecue.com. Hit that barbecue order sauce, and then so we still have some samples left. Go out there and try it. So many. I know we were there at the house, and you had a whole bunch of samples that were going out. So get them while you can, because then to try it. Give us some feedback on it. Let us know what we can improve on, or tell us, hey, you're doing great. It's not so great. Like I said, we accept all feedback, good, bad, or whatever. So any other comments or things that you have, Randy?
Nope. Just let's see those, the kids cooks, whatever they're cooking, whether it's indoor, outdoor, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be the final product. You can literally show us a picture of them flipping a hamburger, cooking a steak on the stove, whatever it is, baking something. Let us see that and put it on Facebook. We'll create a Facebook post of it, and then you can go there and do it. Of course, like our stuff, share it. It's, you don't have to buy our stuff, but if you want to just support us, it's free to support. Like a post, share the post, let people know about us. Maybe there's someone on your friends list that may, want to try something. You never know. And of course, our new slogan besides "Get Hooked," thanks to Mr. John Martin, who came up with "Big Taste, Big Flavor, Big Salinas."
I love that. That is just awesome. So thanks to him for doing that. Again, we absolutely love doing these podcasts. Keep the things coming. Again, if you have any questions, you have any comments on it, or maybe an idea like for a segment and stuff on it that we're doing, do we have any? Do you know what's kind of coming up for the next episode? Do you have a thought process for that, Randy?
Yeah, so when we come to the next episode in a couple of weeks, we'll go over, we'll talk about the cook-off and how it went. We'll shoot a couple of videos and kind of put it together on YouTube for us to post it up there. And want to discuss that, how we did, if we got anything, but just talk about overall the experience. I mean, I'm not looking to go in there and win the whole thing. I would love to win the whole thing. It'd be kind of awesome to win the first GC, with over 100 people. But we're just going there just to kind of put our name back out there, knock off the rust, and hone in on our cooking for the next cook-off. And then we'll bring on a guest, James Ledbetter, BK Brothers Barbecue. So I'll talk to him about getting him on. And of course, we'll talk after the episode later in the week with Junior and Chris on when we're going to shoot that. So we get with him and get all that lined up, if that'll be the next episode.
Sounds great. And again, yeah, like I said, keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming. Remember to always, with nothing, if you don't do anything else, cook with that love, cook with the confidence, cook with passion, and of course, we will always see you down the road.